Next section, what makes special operations so special? And in here, you kind of profile one individual, an individual by the name of Jonny Kim, which podcast 221, you can listen to Jonny Kim's story. It's just unbelievable. What made you want to profile Jonny in here?
So Jonny and I and Ryan were all in the same buds class. And what stuck out about Jonny, now it goes back to why I was judging Ryan. You got to understand my career prior to that. I'd finished #1 in pretty much every military school, from boot camp to the School of Infantry. Finished 3rd in recon school out of 30 behind 2 guys that went on to be MARSOC Det 1. Even graduated #1 from Marine OCS. So when you're on a successful track, what happens? You become a little bit arrogant. You think you have things figured out. And I thought I had things figured out. Naturally, because I was still a sergeant in the Marine Corps, the class sort of gravitated towards me because I had a roughneck style of leadership, and they loved it. And the instructors loved it as well. But Jonny, I just sort of always dismissed Jonny because small, Asian kid, Korean from LA, just he's sort of, I don't want to say devoid of emotion. He's not a showy guy, and naturally, because he didn't have a flamboyant personality, I figured, this guy's just a non-performer. He's just another one of the students that either is going to drop or he'll make it through and be a non-factor in the SEAL teams. In this book, I think you're seeing that I show my ass a lot in these assumptions that I made about who was going to be a good SEAL and who wasn't, and usually that was wrong. But those are the scars as you get involved in talent acquisition. Is like you don't become better at this process of assessing and selecting the right people in your organization unless you screw up.
Yeah, I'd say your assessment was wrong on multiple levels, because not only is Jonny Kim an awesome SEAL and ranks, above among the highest of respect in the SEAL teams, but then just as a human, then as a Harvard doctor, and then as an astronaut, and then just basically as an overall human being, he's right up there with very rarefied air.
So I talked to Jonny. I wanted to get approved through NASA that he was good, and he read it. And I think the instructors looked at Jonny and they just sort of made a snap of judgment that he's just a quiet little guy. And watching him, because again we both reported into SEAL Team 3, my jaw just continued to drop because he was better than I was day one out of buds. He was just that smart where he picked up everything quickly. 18 Delta. Now he's a high-speed medic. Quickly rushed to sniper school, becomes a sniper. He'd either be treating casualties on the battlefield or he'd be pulling the trigger, eliminating Islamic extremists. And the guy was amazing, and humbled to have served with him. And based off his podcast, we had a very close conversation about one night in Sadr City, which was a bad night for everyone, but ultimately that was on Stoner and I, that we even let the guys go out when we knew we weren't ready. But it's the point with Jonny is a lot of people just would have looked past him quickly because he didn't have a college degree, from LA. Nothing stood out on paper, but as you peel that onion back.
Yeah, I think a good word to describe Jonny that you would pick up is just unassuming, right? He's just unassuming, and that's what he is. It's less now because people know his background now, so I'm sure that just comes across. But yeah, he's super just a super humble, unassuming guy, and yeah, a beast.
Now I tell people I worked with Jonny Kim. Quick as that, hey, I served with Jonny Kim.
Dang, that's awesome.